NASCAR just told one of the biggest names in the sport he can't race at Talladega, so he showed up anyway. His real name is Garrett Mitchell. He's 30 years old, based out of Bradenton, Florida. And to millions of people on the internet, he's better known as Cletus McFarland, the no-sleeves, loud car, bald eagle screaming YouTube personality who built an entire empire out of pure American chaos. He owns the Freedom Factory, a real oval racetrack he bought and turned into one of the most entertaining motorsports venues in the country. He runs Crown Victoria races there. He hosts the Florida Man Games. He's the kind of guy who flies a helicopter into a disaster zone to drop off supplies, which he literally did after Hurricane Helene, and still finds time to go viral the next week. He turned a failing oval track into a racing empire, and then decided that wasn't enough. Because somewhere along the way, Garrett Mitchell decided he wanted to become a real NASCAR driver. It didn't start as a joke. In 2025, Mitchell suited up and made his ARCA Menard Series debut with Rhett Jones Racing, driving the number 30 Ford. Over 4 races that season, he scored 2 top 10 finishes, a 10th place at Talladega Superspeedway, and a career-best 9th at Charlotte Motor Speedway. For someone coming from YouTube, those are genuinely respectable numbers on tracks where experienced drivers regularly struggle. That success gave him, and the teams around him, confidence that this wasn't just a gimmick. So heading into 2026, the plan expanded. Mitchell signed a developmental deal with Richard Childress Racing, one of NASCAR's most storied organizations. The goal was simple: keep climbing. More races, higher series, bigger tracks. He kicked off the year by entering the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race at Daytona International Speedway. He qualified 12th, solid for a newcomer, but was caught up in a crash on lap 5 and finished 37th. Then came Rockingham Speedway and his O'Reilly Auto Parts Series debut, the second highest level of NASCAR competition. He started 35th in the 38-car field. On lap 206, his car got loose, went for a spin, and nearly collected a significant portion of the field. He crossed the finish line, 32nd, 6 laps down to the leaders. And that Rockingham race is exactly what triggered everything that happened next. A few days after Rockingham, NASCAR EVP and Chief Racing Development Officer John Probst appeared on the sanctioning body's official podcast, Hauler Talk, and made the situation very clear. "All huge Cletus fans," Probst said. "We all watch his videos and are certainly very appreciative of everything he's done in our sport, and will continue to do in our sport. He is approved right now for O'Reilly Series short tracks, which means he's good for all of ARCA, all of Truck, and then O'Reilly up through the short tracks. We'd like to see more out of Cletus in the short tracks, so we're not saying no, but there is more that we would like to see out of Cletus before we would approve him for Talladega." Mitchell had been set to make his second O'Reilly Series start with Richard Childress Racing at Talladega Superspeedway on April 25th. That plan was now off the table. Shortly after Probst's comments, Mitchell posted a video to his Facebook page addressing his fans directly. Raw, honest, and without drama. "Ladies and gentlemen, I wanted you to hear it from me first that I have been denied by NASCAR to run Talladega in my O'Reilly car," Mitchell said. "I made my O'Reilly debut last Saturday with hopes of getting approval for Talladega, but they did not see enough. Granted, it was a pretty hectic race. I tried to pass someone 3 wide on the 3rd lap, spun out a few times. Didn't crash or crash anybody, but still, it was pretty hectic. He didn't deflect blame. He didn't point fingers at NASCAR. He called it a kick in the nuts, but kept it real. It is what it is. I need more windshield time, regardless of whether it's in an O'Reilly car, ARCA car, or truck. More windshield time is gonna help me. I got a lot to learn, guys." His next O'Reilly Series start was moved to Nashville Superspeedway, a slower, safer venue where he can continue building experience before targeting the bigger tracks again. Probst doubled down on the reasoning behind NASCAR's process. "It's not NASCAR saying no. We're just saying we want to see more first. When you look back at what we've asked other drivers to do, we're asking him to do something very similar, and to show he's progressing. He's on the steep side of the learning curve. We will progress him as fast as we can, but in a very meaningful way that doesn't get him in a bad situation. And critically, Ropes shut down any suggestion that money or social media fame played a role. If it was just about clicks and dollars, we had an easy decision with Cletus. But it's not about that. It's just making sure that we're doing right for him as a driver and as a human being, to make sure that when we say you're ready, that we feel in all our hearts that he is ready. The moment the denial went public, NASCAR social media split into 3 clear camps. The first group backed NASCAR's call completely. Talladega Superspeedway is 2.66 miles of flat-out pack racing fury, where cars draft inches apart at nearly 200 miles per hour. One mistake doesn't just end your race, it can end someone else's. Talladega isn't a learning track. You mess up there, you take out half the field. That sentiment echoed across forums, comment sections, and fan pages. These fans pointed to his Daytona truck crash on lap 5, his multiple spins at Rockingham, and argued that protecting the field from an inexperienced driver at the sport's most dangerous track is not gatekeeping. It's common sense. The second camp was loud and frustrated. He brings more viewers than half the field. NASCAR needs guys like him. These fans argued that Mitchell's YouTube audience, millions of passionate young viewers, represents exactly the kind of new fan pipeline that NASCAR has been desperately chasing for years. Blocking him from Talladega, in their view, was blocking the sport's best marketing opportunity of the year. Then there was the third camp, the memes. Within hours, the internet was flooded. Denied from one race. Shows up anyway. That's main character energy. Cletus really said, fine, I'll do ARCA instead. The viral energy was undeniable, and it only added fuel to an already burning story. Here's where the story takes its turn. Garrett Mitchell is still going to Talladega. NASCAR denied him the O'Reilly Series seat, but he is fully approved for the ARCA Menard Series, and that's exactly where he'll be. On Saturday, in the Alabama Manufactured Housing 200 going green. At 12:30 p.m. Eastern on FS-only, he'll be back behind the wheel of the number 30 Bald Eagle Ford for Rhett Jones Racing. This will be his third ARCA outing of the 2026 season, and he is absolutely not showing up alone. George Siciliano, known online as LS George and Squirrel McNutt, is Mitchell's best friend, his co-pilot through all the YouTube chaos, and now his actual on-track teammate. Siciliano will be entering the same race, driving the number 0 Heatwave Visuals Ford for Rhett Jones Racing. This is the third consecutive week the two friends have raced together, but it is the first time they'll be on a super speedway at the same time. And at Talladega, that changes everything. Super speedway racing is a team sport. Drafting partners can pull each other through the field or protect each other from getting swallowed up by bigger runs. Having a trusted teammate at Talladega is not a luxury. It is a competitive weapon. Siciliano had been building toward this moment through a structured progression. Hickory, then Rockingham, then Kansas. Each track cleared the way for the next. At Kansas, he finished 12th, his best result in his first race on a track longer than 1 mile. Now he's at Dega. This isn't too crazy, Siciliano said ahead of the weekend. We were out here in Crown Vic, so I'm really used to the speeds. Got those up to 160 miles per hour, so that was pretty great. Rockingham and Kansas were pretty fast, and they wouldn't let me do Daytona until then, but now we got it. I'm feeling really good. I'm going to be driving much more aggressively now because I was on the road to Dega, but now I'm here to win. We're going to be shaking and baking. Mitchell confirmed the vibe. He texted me last night and he said, I'm letting the cat out of the cage at Dega, so he's been on probation until this moment. The Talladega Nights shake and bake reference has been a running bit between these two for their entire racing journey. But this weekend, at the actual Talladega Superspeedway, they get to live it out, for real. There is also real emotional weight behind this race. George's participation honors a promise the two made to their late friend, Greg Biffle, a NASCAR Cup Series legend who passed away in a tragic plane crash. Getting approved to compete at Talladega was a way to fulfill that promise. The race they're entering is not a small event. This is the largest ARCA field at Talladega since 2012, with 41 teams entered. The top 36 in owner points lock in automatically. Joe Gibbs Racing's number 18 starts on the pole, leading the owner standings. Gio Ruggiero is the driver to beat. He won at Daytona and Kansas and is chasing his third straight ARCA victory. Jack Wood comes in looking for redemption after leading 39 laps at Kansas before a late crash ended his day. Nitro Motorsports is bringing a massive 5-car entry with Jake Finch, Gus Dean, Jake Bowman, Isabella Robustello, and Thomas Annunziata. The history at this track is wild. There has not been a repeat winner in 19 consecutive ARCA races at Talladega. The last driver to win there more than once was 10-time series champion Frank Kimmel, who took victories in 2006 and 2013. The closest finish in series history happened right here, when Zane Smith beat Joe Graff Jr. by literally 0 seconds. The timing system showed no difference. Back in 2018, the full weekend and the long game. The O'Reilly Series AG Pro 300 runs, Saturday at 4:00 p.m. ET on the CW, with 38 cars entered for 38 spots. Everyone makes the show. Then on Sunday at 3:00 p.m. ET on Fox, the Cup Series Jack Links 500 takes center stage. 41 cars are entered for only 40 spots, meaning one team goes home after qualifying. Tyler Reddick enters the weekend, having won 5 of the first 9 Cup races of 2026, a pace that hasn't been matched since Dale Earnhardt in 1987. As for Mitchell, his eyes are fixed further down the road. His stated goal is the Daytona 500. He has said publicly he wants to get there by 2028, taking the proper steps to earn it rather than forcing his way in. "I just need to get out there more and do as much learning as possible," he said, "and then hopefully I'll get to run Daytona and Talladega next year." Most influencers buy a ride and disappear. Cleetus McFarland is actually trying to become a real race car driver. He was denied at the O'Reilly level, and he responded by showing up at Talladega anyway, in a lower series, doing the work. That's not a setback, that's a plan.